Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches, and I believe this may be episode 30. I'm very unsure on the numbers, but I think it's around that. And as always, we have a large and varied drop for you guys and girls, ranging from IWCs to Breitlings to Grand Seikos to Cartier, and even a very interesting, in my opinion, ladies piece, which, you know, for you ladies out there, I do get a couple of emails every now and again asking why we don't do more ladies watches. The reason being, most ladies just wear whatever watches they want, and I think that's how it should be. So there isn't men's watches and ladies watches, but this watch right here is definitely a vintage ladies watch, and it's a really interesting piece, so we'll definitely get onto that. And as always, in the description there is a link to every single watch you see on the table here. When you click that link, it will take you over to the website. You'll be able to see the price, all the details, and everything you could possibly need. If it's not there or any information isn't there that you require, give us a call. All of our details are below. Send us an email, whatever works best for you, but stick to one of those platforms. I said it in the last video, and again this week it's just been bombardment from 8 different platforms from like the same people. If you message us on Instagram, wait for a reply on Instagram. If you email us, wait for a reply on email. It's the best way. It keeps things simple because, as I said, it's not always me dealing with those platforms, so we don't want to get all confused. But yeah, and there'll also be a timestamp as well to skip all this rambling as usual. And I just want to say thank you again for another great week. Last week was another good week, and this week already is a great week. And again, I'm recording this early. It is Tuesday, and obviously this drop goes live Saturday. So hopefully all of what you see here will still be available by that point. So act quick if you're watching this video. And the final thing before we dive into the watches, what is on wrist? Well, I have been very, very lucky, and Nicholas Bowman Scargill of Fears Watches sent me his personal Garrick watch to actually test out. So since getting my personal Fears watch, I have sort of changed my my collecting philosophy, if you will, and where I see my collection going. That's why you will see a Santos over there. That is, or was, my personal watch. I'm thinking of changing things up. I'm thinking of going more independent, and that is, you know, putting me in the direction of people like Garrick. I was unsure on the size of the watch, so I wanted to get it in hand and on wrist for a little while, and Nick was very, very kind to lend me his. So thank you very much. I'm going to definitely look after it, don't worry. But we're going to give it a full test and see how I get on and see if I'm going to get one of these, but let's see. Okay, with all that said and done, let's dive into the watches, and starting with probably one of my favorites on the table, this beautiful manually wound Grand Seiko. Onto what is probably one of the nicest Grand Seikos I have personally seen, or at least one of my favorites so far. This is absolutely stunning. This is a 2021 Grand Seiko manually wound, and the reference is SBGW235, not to be mistaken with the 231, which is similar but not quite the same. This comes with a beads of rice bracelet and that vibrant blue second hand, which you can see when you catch the light is stunning. Now, the reason I love this one so much is definitely partly that bracelet, but the fact it is manually wound. What a beautiful movement inside. That is a manually wound Grand Seiko caliber 9S64A. Really, really stunning. And this watch is from February 2021. It does come with its full box and papers, so new pretty much this year, still under its manufacturer warranty and everything like that. And I think the highlight of this watch, beyond the design, beyond the bracelet, beyond the fact it's manually wound, is the fact it is 37 millimeters. Which is just incredible. I mean, the fact that Grand Seiko are doing beautifully clean aesthetics and in very, very good wearable sizes for most men and women, I think is great, especially for a manually wound watch. Like, you know, it's all well and good. For example, this is a 42. It's all well and good having the bigger watches, but to cram all that in to that size and still be aesthetically pleasing is very, very good and hard to achieve. But let's show it here on wrist. This watch, as I said, it does come with this bracelet. I think it looks better on a leather strap personally, but you know, having that bracelet is a nice touch, and it brings the watch up a little bit to like a sporty level, which is helpful. But it is, as I said, 37mm by 44mm lug to lug, only 12mm thick and 19mm lug, so a little bit awkward on the lug size, but nothing too drastic that you can't find good straps for it. But a very beautiful design, and I think that is what Grand Seiko do so well, and the reason they are so sought after really within the collecting world, and sort of becoming the more mainstream. I actually know a few customers who aren't really into collecting watches but actually own Grand Seikos, so that is really cool to see. From there, let's go over to a black spring drive. What's better than one Grand Seiko? It is two Grand Seikos, and this is a really cool transitional Grand Seiko. So for those of you who really know your stuff, you'll see this says Seiko at the top and Grand Seiko at the bottom. Now this is before they completely basically split off and they got rid of the word Seiko on the dial and changed it just to Grand Seiko. I think it was the correct move for the brand going forward, but it has made these models kind of cool, you know, to have one of these early references that still have Seiko Grand Seiko. I think it's cool anyway. But this is a really, really nice spring drive, power reserve, very, very classic, black dial, polished bezel, you know, beautiful curves on the case, everything you could want really with a spring drive. The only thing is it's a closed case back, which is a bit of a shame, but not the end of the world, and it does actually bring the price down, to be honest, compared to the counterparts which have an open case back. But really, really nice screw down crown as well, 3-link oyster style bracelet, and a very reliable clasp, all the things you would want. Now inside this is the spring drive 9R65 caliber, and this one is from April 2018. It does come with its full box and papers, and the reference is the SBGA085, a very good, very reliable and very affordable Grand Seiko spring drive, especially when you consider it's just a tad over £2,000 and under 2.5 grand for a pre-owned. And interestingly, I had a conversation with a gentleman about depreciation of Grand Seiko. You know, he was worried about buying them because they have depreciated. Now, as always, buying pre-owned is almost always the best option because you're buying it after it's already depreciated. Now, does it mean it can't go down any further? Of course, it could still go down further, but at least it won't be in the range of thousands of pounds, hopefully. So there it is. But let's show it on wrist, because that is what you're here to see. As you can see, these have been sized to my wrist, which is very handy, but there you go. Really stunning. Really well proportioned, 39mm by 46.5mm lug to lug, 12mm thick and 19mm lug. So again, 12mm thick and 19mm, same as the 37mm dress manually wound. But this is definitely more of a sporty look with that 3-link bracelet, the all black dial, and you can just see those indices hitting the light with that Zaratsu finishing, which is just stunning. You have to get this watch under a loupe and you can really appreciate it. But go check this one out on the website. Now let's go over to a diver with this awesome IWC. So a IWC, and not just any IWC, this is a really nice Aquatimer automatic on its rubber strap, and to be specific, the reference is IW329001. A very cool looking dive watch, as you can see. Let's take it off, open this up, you can see the case back and everything like that. These are quick release straps, and we will wait for the police to go past. There we go, good old Clerkenwell. So you've got a signed IWC screw down crown. You actually have a helium escape valve over here, very useful thing to have for true saturation diving, and actually needed. And you can see you've got a rotating bezel, which when you turn it one way, it obviously turns the bezel, and when you go the other way, it sort of ratchets backwards. So there you go, an interesting little design. There you go, you can see it. And that obviously allows you not to turn it the wrong way when you are underwater, which would be devastating, but there you go. It definitely isn't a small watch, this, but it wears really well, and this is a good example of, if you like this watch and you want to save yourself a lot of money, this is the way to do it, because not only is it pre-owned, but it also doesn't have any box and papers. That isn't a cause for alarm. You know, everything gets checked and ran over and sort of looked over, so you haven't got to worry in that regard. It just means you save yourself some money, because obviously no one's going to pay the same price for a watch only example as they would for box and papers. So if you really just want the watch, perfect, because guess what, you don't wear the box and papers. So here we go on wrist. Now it is from sort of between circa 2014 and 2016, and inside is the automatic IWC caliber 30120, that's the one. And on wrist here, on my 6 3/4 inch wrist, you can see it's a big watch, but it still wears relatively well. It's 42mm by 50mm lug to lug, 14mm thick and 22mm lugs on that integrated style, you know, flush fit rubber strap, which I think wears super well and just looks really good. It suits the design of the watch well. And I really like this watch. I think IWC nailed the design. Now onto a watch I'll be sad to see go, but it's going towards better things. That is the Cartier Santos. So as I said, one I'm going to be sad to see go, but knowing it's going to hopefully go to a very good home and it will be helping me go to the next level of my collecting, which is super exciting. So this was my personal Cartier Santos Galbi. It is the automatic model and the reference is 2319. Now inside here is actually a very small ETA caliber 2000-1. I personally really like this size. I really like this watch. I loved it. I enjoyed it. But of my two Cartiers, because I have this and the mid-size tank solo, I have to admit I just prefer the tank if I'm going to have to keep one Cartier, and that's sort of the point I'm at. So it'd be sad to see it go, but it is a stunning watch, so I wouldn't hesitate on this. It's got a really nice clean dial, nice case. It's definitely been worn, there's scratches, but I'm not getting it repolished again. I'll leave that down to the new owner to decide if they want to do, but it is in overall very good condition, all considered. It does only fit a 6 3/4 inch wrist. It has no spare links, so that's something to keep in mind. They can be sourced, so let us know. You can see it's got its original Cartier deployant right there, which pops down and you push it open like so. It's got its original cabochon crown as well, which is a blue sapphire. And let's show it here on wrist and torque dimensions. So as I said, mid-size. So this isn't the large and it isn't the small ladies either. It's that perfect size in between, which is great for him or for her. 29mm by 40mm lug to lug, 8.5mm thick and 18mm lugs. I think it works well. I wouldn't be hesitating on this one, but then again, I didn't myself. So there you go. Let's bring it back up to this Breitling chronograph. So a Breitling Colt. I used to get quite a few of these in the door a little while ago, and then the prices have definitely gone up on these, and to find them in good condition and good honest examples, it's getting a little bit harder. So we have a very nice one here. This is a 1990s Breitling Chronomat 39mm with its box. It doesn't have any papers unfortunately, but it does come with its original blocks and original deployant buckle, which which is actually in the box itself, so you have to keep an eye out for that. In the photos it doesn't fit this strap I've put it on, but obviously if you've got a strap that it would fit correctly with, you can have the original buckle. But here we go, I've put it on a nice blue leather because the original strap was very tired, but a really nice looking dial, nice loom as you can see, and it's just aged very nicely, very honest. Nice rotating bezels, screw down crown, pushers, all that good stuff that you come to expect with Breitling. So the specific reference of this one is the A13047, and inside here is the automatic Breitling caliber B13, which is basically an ETA 7750 with a date, as you can see. And as I said, it is from circa 1990s. And we'll show it here on wrist. 39mm by 45mm lug to lug, 14mm thick and 20mm lugs. Very versatile watch. I think it works in a lot of different designs. They come in so many different designs, but this is very clean, very nice, and just very simple. And you know what, even though it's black and it's silver, the blue works really well in my opinion. A very nice choice. And sticking to chronographs, let's go through them. So we have the awesome Omega Chronostop. Now onto one of the nicest chronostops I've seen in a while, and by nicest I mean that dial condition. Look at that. The dial is absolutely stunning. The loom is all even and beautifully patinaed, as it is in the hands as well. Just a really nice, honest example, and this is from 1968 as well. So an early one. The reference is 145009 or 145010. And inside here is the manually wound Omega caliber 865, which is based on the Lamania. So it's still based on the correct movement that was in sort of like the 861 or the 321, really. If you go all the way back, still a Lamania based chronograph movement. Now it is one of the most useless chronograph movements in the world, but still cool nonetheless. It is a single minute, one button chronograph. And if you actually want to time it, so let's say you're timing whatever it is you're timing and you hold it down, and then holding it down you can take the time and then release and it will fly back. Obviously if you don't hold it down it will just fly back like so. Mega sign crown, nice condition overall. It's definitely been polished in its past and it's definitely been worn. You know, it's not a mint example, but the dial certainly is, and that is its original crystal as well. which is just really, really nice to have, but let's show it on wrist. So here it is. It is an unusual case profile, that's for sure, but I really like it. 34.5mm case by 39mm lug to lug, only 12mm thick and 18mm lugs. We've got it paired on this nice suede, which I think works really well, especially with summer coming up. But you know, the choices are endless, really. And the last chronograph on the table today is this Breitling Surfboard. Now, a awesome modern Breitling. This is actually from 2021. It's a Breitling Chronographs Surfboard, as they're known, and the reference is 98A252, and it's based on a very cool manually wound vintage model, which I believe had the Valjoux 7733 inside originally, and this one is actually powered by a Mecha Quartz caliber 6S21. So what that means is you can see the quartz ticking away over here as normal, and when you press this, it beats almost like a mechanical watch. So that is what Mecha Quartz is. Very interesting, very cool movement, and still accurate, but it gives all the feeling of a mechanical watch, which is nice. A screw down crown, you can see you've got the red and the black on the bezel, and the reason these are called the Surfboard is because you can see in the dial right there, it looks like a surfboard. And the name originally originated from Breitling, I believe, rather than Boulevard, but the dial became known as the Surfboard. Really cool design, very, very nice. It unfortunately doesn't come with any box and papers, but that makes it very affordable. You can see you've got a Boulevard signed rubber strap. You've still got remnants of the sticker on the back as well, but a very nice looking watch. Let's show it here on wrist. So here we go on wrist, a interesting watch at 40.5mm case by 46.5mm lug to lug, 14.5mm thick and 20mm lug, so endless options. I think a brown leather strap or suede would look really cool on this, but the rubber certainly works as well. Now for one of the nicest Christopher Wards I've seen in a while, and I've owned quite a few. This is a very cool one. Let's take a closer look. One of the coolest Christopher Wards I've seen in a while, and it's actually based on the original British military W10s, as you can probably see by the design. A very, very awesome Christopher Ward. The reference is C65 Sandhurst, and it comes on its original bracelet. It does come with its full box and paperwork as well from January 2021, and inside beating away is an automatic Celia SW200, which is chronometer certified. As you can see down there, it says chronometer, and it does come with its chronometer paperwork. A non-screw down crown, but you can see you've got that little red in there and the Christopher Ward logo. Just overall a very, very well designed and well made watch, even with a micro adjust on the clasp, as you can see. And there is signed, and let's open that so I can show you on wrist. There's not really a lot to say about this one because value is everything with this. You know, it's about £1,000 brand new, and the price we have it out pre-owned is an absolute steal, especially for a chronometer, sapphire crystal, bracelet, micro adjust, all the bells and whistles. But here we go. So it is 38mm perfect by 43.5mm lug to lug, 11.5mm thick, and 20mm lugs. Again, endless options here. I've seen a lot of people on Instagram wearing it on a NATO. It looks super cool. And last but definitely not least, the ladies Satina. And here we are. Last but certainly not least, a really cool ladies Satina. A very, very interesting watch. You'll have to excuse the phone in the background, but here we go. This is a 1970s Satina Revelation, as it's called, automatic. Now, as you can see by the design, it is very much like the Omega Dynamic of its day, even with the blue. So there you have it, guys and girls. That is this week's drop, and again, a real varied one. Thank you very much for sending your watches for sale, for consignment, whatever it may be. And I am going to try and do a few other videos rather than just these weekly drops, because, you know, we were doing the Q&A. I'll try and bring that back, but also just some other videos, more reviews, more unboxing and first impressions and other bits and bobs. So keep an eye out for all that. And if you do have any suggestions, let us know down in the comments what you would like to see, and we can work our best to do that. And just before we go, if you do have a watch you would like to sell, do it very simply through our website at Kibble Watches, kibblewatches.co.uk. At the top it says sell, and there's a very quick and easy form to fill out, and we usually get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. If you've not heard back from sort of 48 hours, 3 days, rebump the email. We've either missed it or we are just that busy, and we will do our best to get back to you. But that is it for this week's video. You'll have to excuse all my stuttering. I don't know what's going on. We will see you all next time. Keep safe, keep well, and we are almost back to full normality in the UK. I'm looking forward to it. Take care.